The New York Jets have a problem on offense. And I feel like this Jets offense, objectively, you won't think that it sucks, right? You think the offense is actually doing decent, but the defense is what sucks. But there's something about this offense that needs to change in order for it to completely unlock. Because I do not think the Jets know what their offensive identity is. Because they're starting off games one way, and then they finish off games the other way in terms of a game plan. And that is, of course, having to do with how the game unfolds. The Jets starting off, in a tight game in the first quarter because the score is 0-0. And then at the end of the game, it's usually a blowout in favor of the opposition, so the Jets can switch up their game plan. But the New York Jets must figure out a way to establish their offensive scheme properly. And it starts with Tanner Engstrand. Now, my evaluation of Tanner Engstrand is this. I think that he's actually one of the coaches that Aaron Glenn got right. Steve Wilkes, not the case. But I really do like what I've seen from Tanner Engstrand so far. He's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a little bit refreshing to see the style of offense that he's putting out there on the football field. Seeing this offense being able to run the ball, the offensive line being able to block in the run game a little bit more effectively. The offensive line coach looks improved. There's a lot of improvements, but I feel like we don't know if the Jets are a run-first offense or even a pass-first offense. Because the reason why I bring this up is the Jets, they start off games run-first, and then they end off games pass-first. And again, it's obvious the reason for that. They're trying to run the football to start off games to milk the clock. But do you know what's missing in the formula of being a team that's ground and pound and grounding the rock and being a team that controls the line of scrimmage and winning in gritty ways? Do you know what's the missing piece? The defense stinks. You cannot be a squad that can run the football effectively and just hone in on the run and not pass at all if the defense is not out there taking the ball away and being a good defense. I said entering this season, the only way the New York Jets would be successful this season and shock people is if both of these things are happening. Running the football effectively and playing really good defense. And the Jets are running the football well from a yards perspective, but they're also turning the ball over running the football, and they're not running the football in. Breece Hall does not have a touchdown this year. He doesn't have one touchdown. So the run game is not great. It may look good because of the yards, but I don't care about yards. I care about touchdowns. And I also care about penalties. So there's an issue. I think that the Jets start off games too conservative. They're too stuck on this idea of our formula is to run the football and control the line of scrimmage. And it like poisons our brains because every game so far it's been the same. In the first quarter, the Jets are running the ball very well. It's like the first drive against Miami, you see Breece and Braylon just running down their throats. 7-yard gain, 13-yard gain, 17-yard gain. It's like you can't stop them. Justin Fields is running. It's fantastic. And then they turn it over in the red zone, or they get a back-breaking penalty, and they settle for 3, or they turn the ball over. They never punch it in the end zone for a touchdown. So I think something needs to change. And if I'm the New York Jets, man, they got to abandon the heavy run early in games and start passing the ball early on. And I'm not just talking about little screens and dumps. Stretch the ball to your number one receiver, Garrett Wilson. Hey, how about you get Arian Smith the rock? Because I still think that Arian Smith could be a hidden gem that we're just not even trying to utilize. Where's Arian Smith? Mason Taylor has been a joy to watch, getting his, feet wet in the NFL. He's definitely showing some strides. If there's one positive on offense to build from, it's the tight end from LSU, Mason Taylor. But I want the Jets to utilize Arian Smith and also start to pass the ball a little bit because their blueprint, it's not succeeding right now because the defense is not good enough to be able to go with that, grinding out, winning time of possession mindset, running the football. So you look at the numbers that Justin Fields put up this season, which we talked about all week long already. But, I refuse to believe that if the Jets gave Justin Fields that type of play calling that they do in the fourth quarter when they're down 3 possessions, when they run empty and he's throwing verticals, deep dig routes, why can't they start off doing that? Why can't they They probably stack the box, these teams, defensively. Why can't the Jets try it? Now, Justin Fields is not a perfect passer. He's going to miss some throws. But let him go try to make up for the mistakes. That's why I feel like the Jets need to start passing a little bit earlier on in the game. Get them into a rhythm. Like, what do we got to lose at this point? I really hope the Jets switch up their identity, man, because the run-first offense is failing. And I think that the Jets are confused because if this defense was thriving, like I said, this philosophy of offense would actually be working. So they haven't been able to have a consistent football game to go into a game with a game plan and stick with it for 4 quarters because they have to adjust in the middle of the game because they're losing by 3 touchdowns every time at half or by the 3rd quarter. That's just a recipe for a disaster every time out. So that's my point and why I feel like the Jets' offense objectively sucks. We're not scoring touchdowns. We don't have a first half touchdown since week 1. So it does stink. I know that we're piling on the defense, but I feel like the offense needs to be held accountable as well. Because I said heading into the game against Dallas, the only way the Jets have an opportunity to pull off this upset is if the offense can keep up, because I don't got confidence in the defense. The offense got to be able to push the ball and do their job. But they were unable to do that. And this offense, I think, they don't have an identity yet. They haven't figured out. They got to balance the run-pass situation. And I feel like Garrett Wilson, bro, like this guy is so good. Like Garrett Wilson is such a stud, and it makes me sick that we're wasting his talents right now because every time the ball's in this guy's hands, he's making plays. Whenever the ball's thrown his direction, he catches it 9 times out of 10. And he's just always a player that deserves like 15 targets a game. Like he is a guy that can withstand the volume. He's a playmaker. He can make people miss in the open field. He can just do whatever he needs. Like, I love Garrett Wilson so much, and I feel like he needs to be involved early in the games, not just at the end when we're losing. That's what breaks me. That's what pisses me off, okay? And Justin Fields got to be better to, of course, hit the throws. But is there anybody around Garrett Wilson that's going to step up? Is there anybody? Arian Smith, maybe? Because there's nobody around him. Josh Reynolds, Tyler Johnson, Alan Lazard are just 3 veterans that you can just kick to the curb and no one will even notice. So that's something that you got to keep in mind about that. But you guys let me know your thoughts about this. Do you think that the Jets are a run-first or a pass-first offense? Because they're trying to be a run-first offense, and it's not working. And when they go to the pass, that's when they're scoring touchdowns. That's when they're actually scoring. Now, you guys can argue, yeah, well, the Jets are losing, so defenses get a little bit more soft. They're allowing things to go underneath a little bit more, and Fields is just checking down to Mason Taylor, checking down underneath to Brees. He's going underneath. I get all that. That's really true. But why don't they do that early in the games? And see, like, you got to get these defenses that we're playing on their heels. You got to show some type of an adjustment that shifts everything around. Because the Jets are so bad that they cannot afford slow starts, these miscommunications and turnovers. And the recipe for this Jets football team this season, the losing recipe, has been turnovers and penalties. That's what it's been. That's the story of the season. Turning the ball over more than the other team and getting penalized more than the other team. You're never winning that way. Ever. You are never winning football games that way. So until they clean that up, all these extra stuff that we mentioned right now in this video about the offensive identity is thrown out the door. Because as long as you are turning the ball over and being penalized more than the other team, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. So my key to this Jets offense to figure out their identity is to balance it out more and stop holding Justin Fields back early on in games. That's how I look at it. And there's no guarantee that if you let the pass game open up early on, it's going to work. And good luck doing that against Denver next week, by the way. That's not going to be easy to do. Appreciate you guys tuning in to this video. Comment down below your thoughts. Don't forget to hit the like button as well. I appreciate you big time. Big shout out to Sleeper, again, for sponsoring Jets Media all throughout the season. Make sure you guys go check them out if you did not already by getting a promo code of JETS. Gives you a $100 deposit match up to $100. Big time shout out to them. You get $20 for free. They're running a promo right now. Go check them out. Legal in 25 states. Terms and conditions apply, of course.